This is Average Sports.
By your average guys,
Eric.
and Ty. That would be so bad.
Yeah. This is Average Sports.
Your average sports.
Average Sports.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode
You're
of
listening to Average Sports with your average guys.
Average Sports, average guys, Eric and Ty.
You made a good choice today. You're tuning in to another episode of Average Sports with your average guys, Eric.
And Ty.
There you go. It's
And
episode
Ty.
406, and that's the first time we've ever tried that. It went okay. Yeah, good job. We do have a very average episode coming your way today, and we're glad to have you tuned in.
Yes.
We're going to talk about just about every sport, every major sport in the U.S., including
I think
what's
so,
happening with MLB. Yeah, and then, hey, Eric, how's your bracket doing, my man?
Not great, Bob.
Yeah.
Not great.
Not super great. Hey, we called it, though, on the Oral Roberts, though. Go back to our bracket episode, and I said there's something about that team, and they shined. Yeah. So at least for the first win. I don't think I would have ever picked them to win two.
No.
My goodness, they were impressive.
Well, I had that good call with UCLA going not as far as not to the Final Four.
No.
But I think I had them in the Sweet 16 in my bracket.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I mean, it's not surprising to ever see an 11 seed go to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. Never surprising.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of food for thought in the future. Let's go over the Final Four teams, though, because the table is set. You got number one Gonzaga. No surprise there, going against 11 seed UCLA. Yeah. Then you have a really interesting matchup between 1 seed Baylor against 2 seed Houston. Now, not as going as far as like, wow, that's a surprise, but those teams are, I mean, they're good. You can't say they're not.
Both teams are fantastic.
Yeah. And the odds were, as we discussed also in our bracket episode, that a team from Texas was likely to go very deep in the tournament, and there we are. Yeah. I was looking more at Texas just on their path to victory. They didn't do it, clearly. I didn't think Texas Tech was going to go past Sweet 16. And they didn't.
They didn't.
they sure didn't. And then, but Houston, They're living up to, I guess, expectation but they also have shown a history of stumbling a little bit. So it should be a pretty interesting game against Baylor. But what do you think for the finals, Eric? Gonzaga, Baylor, or anything different?
Yeah. I mean, I think I like Gonzaga, Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go against that.
Yeah.
To be honest. I think there could be a bit of an upset with Houston. Do you think on any planet that UCLA can upset Gonzaga, best team in America?
I mean, I wouldn't have picked UCLA to definitely beat Michigan, but they pulled that one out. It was a great game by them. So they are definitely the lone Cinderella left with these top tier teams. So, but yeah, they have to play the best team in the country, who have been dominating just up and down. So, and I kind of want to see a Fu Manchu in the finals. So I'm excited for that.
Okay. So definitely that's going to be best games to watch later on. That's much later in the episode. Just going over some last week's recaps on some stuff, headlines that were going on. How about the meth? How about that meth that was found in a Cubs player's bag in spring training? Just showing up, ready to work out. Got his bat, got his gloves.
He's ready to
5
work.
pounds of meth. He was ready to work. That's right. Whoa, what's that about?
I mean, hey, when you're I don't even remember who it was, but
I think it was minor league.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
A shot to try out.
Yeah, minor league players don't make a ton of money, so you got to sell that meth on the side.
Ooh, I mean, that's what you have to feel like is going on here. That he was strapped for cash. You're not making a lot, especially in 2020.
Yeah.
That was his side hustle. Not a good
recoup.
One. Okay. So, that's them's the breaks sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
Looking at, though, another kind of bummer in sports headlines, Desean Watson.
Yeah.
I want to talk about him because a couple of episodes ago, we just went through an entire topic of talking about what's going on with Houston Texans and what they're faced with for the coming actual additional seasons in the future, not just into the next season, and then where Desean Watson's going. Does he have a future right now? It looks pretty bleak.
It looks bleak. I would just call it unclear.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it's definitely not improving at this point, but I can't say he's headed for something positive. I mean, there were 2 more lawsuits that were filed against him today, which now has a total of 21
lawsuits
and 18 women.
Wow.
against him. So it is not going well. And there were 3 lawsuits on Sunday. So, I mean, that's 5 just in the past couple of days.
Wow.
So it's getting worse and worse for Desean Watson. And
as a player, now you also have to look outside the sport and think about what this really means. I mean, there are real victims then that are part of this. So thoughts on that. And when you look at the amounting evidence that is, likely to come through with this many lawsuits, boy, I mean, does he even deserve then a chance to continue playing? And most likely, I would think not.
Yeah, I would think not, especially if
he even gets to stay out of prison.
Yeah,
because that's what we're talking about here too.
Yeah, if any of them, which the numbers would stack against that, and we've definitely seen in recent years when once one domino kind of falls, the rest are coming out.
Yeah,
maybe all 21 are true. I would probably take 1 or 2 off. But realistically, I think we can expect a severe amount of these to stick, just based on early claims and evidence. But of course, we got to go through the process. But at the end of the day, I don't see him getting around this. Even if he's somehow cleared or settled. I mean, there were even reports of him calling to settle, which is still not going to be able to keep him around. I mean, very unfortunate for these women. And if Desean Watson's a piece of garbage, I mean, then let's just get him out. So.
Yep. Go through the process, as you said. Yeah, troubling news indeed. Let's go into our topic, though. How about it? We're going to talk about MLB Opening Day is at the time of this recording. And we're right there. April 1st is when first pitch is going out. So first games, we're excited. We're looking forward to it. Let's talk about, though, what to expect for the season, because MLB, let's face it, I think fell on their face a bit last year.
Yes.
I only watched probably 4 or 5 regular season games. I watched a little bit of the playoffs, but it was missing. It was, it just kind of missed on all levels.
Yeah, I had some games on in the background as I was working, just sitting there plugging away and had it on just kind of for some background noise, which is a great time of year to have some baseball on. It's wonderful background noise and check in every now and then. So, they fell on their face last year. They had some positive things. I was very excited about the DH. And
so let's talk. Is that sticking for the NL?
Currently, no.
Okay.
But I was actually listening to Danny Mack, who is the play-by-play for the Cardinals, and he was even talking about just the fact that baseball, players union and baseball, they always come together at the very last minute to get some things done, including last year when they decided, like right before first pitch, they were going to do DHs in the NL. And he was making some observations of what he saw in spring training, is that most of the NL teams were not actually having pitchers bat even towards the end. Very common that most teams don't have the pitchers bat right away. Give them a couple games, and then they start getting them in live games, closer and closer to the regular season. And he said that just wasn't happening for about half of the NL teams. So a lot of them just played their DHs the whole way. Maybe some underlying talks are happening, and maybe we'll see something last minute. But I would at least expect it this year that pitchers may bat, but it may be the last time. Especially if they have a really poor performance. He was also talking about their average being about 131.
Sure. And it's kind of automatic out a lot of times in the lineup.
And he expects it to be even worse this year because of the truncated season. Making sure that you're mitigating injuries with your pitchers. And he expected to be around 100, which if it's 100, there is no way that both sides can't come together and get this out of the game. Baseball traditionalists be damned. I'm sorry, 100 batting average is not good enough. I don't care what strategy's involved. That's not doing it. That's not good enough.
I will still remain that I will miss it, but I do understand there is still a product to be had. You want to see hits happening, and hits kind of aren't happening. You see like more extra bases or hits, or really, home runs, but you're seeing a decline in the number of singles, doubles, and then a lot more strikeouts. What's a pitcher going to do? like up that average? No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I like seeing everyone who's on the field have to also go to the plate. Again, I'll miss it, but I do understand it. So I think you're right. If anything from last year, what it was likely a catalyst going into a permanent DH for both leagues. I mean, I could see that, absolutely.
I could certainly see that that's what it's leading to. When I really even kind of look like what you had mentioned, seeing less and less, singles and doubles. And part of that is, and more home runs, I think part of that is because of the velocity's gone up so much. 2 decades ago, average was probably 94-ish, which would have been, pretty fast and now is considered mediocre.
That's a good point, too.
A lot of pitchers out there are throwing
high heat.
Yeah, 98, 99.
It's hot fire.
And those are starters.
Yeah.
Much less your bullpen guys who are racking up over 100 very consistently now.
Yeah. Okay, really good point. How about the length of the season, though? We are expecting 162 games.
Yeah. I don't see that changing.
I wouldn't either.
Way.
I think there may be some COVID protocols to go into place where some games are delayed, like what we saw, especially earlier on in the NHL season. However, I mean, with the way current things are panning out, I would expect a full 162 season.
I expect them to do a full 162. I think that's in the plans.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason that a series has to get canceled or something like that, I think they're going to do their very best to contain it and make up the games at a later date. And if they can't, I think you would then look at they're all playing within the same central. So I was thinking interleague play, but there's a ton of interleague play this year because it's East, West, and Central.
Some other changes that I'm actually a really big fan of, and we got to demo this last year with the double headers, only going to the 7th inning. Yeah, that was cool because then you're just bang bang. You get to see a lot of baseball, and then every inning meant that much more. You didn't have those couple extra chances.
Yeah,
those 6 extra outs can mean a big difference in the game. So that was really neat. So that's going to remain for this year. The 2 7-inning games. Then as extra innings take place, you're going to see that runner getting at a runner on second.
I really
that's
like
interesting,
this one.
And I think that'll be cool to see
because it doesn't happen all the time. But man, when you get those 14, 15, 16 inning games, we have to do something to speed this up,
right?
And I get it in the
playoffs.
Maybe
totally.
for the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't want that. I get that.
Right.
Similar to the NHL with their 5-on-5 overtime in playoffs is just straight up 5-on-5.
Especially when you're talking about one game out of 162. Yeah. Don't let that go to a 19th inning. That doesn't need to happen.
It destroys your teams. It destroys the pitchers. I mean, it's too much. It's too much. So during the regular season, we need to speed it up. 10th inning, no, you got to play it like normal. 11th inning, maybe that's where you start someone on first. 12th inning, second. 13th inning, put someone on third. I don't know. I think it's just always second. But
a couple of real quick, just on some minor league changes that the MLB will be demoing.
Oh, good call.
Are some robot umps that will be going on. There'll be a lot more of that at the low A level, as well as the limits to the number of step-offs and pickoffs that will happen per plate appearance. I think that's also an interesting
I really like
change.
that, too. And there's another one that they're exploring in the minor leagues is that they're going to expand the bases. They're going to make them bigger.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, so...
I'm just thinking of large pillows, like love sacks or something.
I
beanbag
think
chair
they're adding
just dive right into.
2 inches, adding 2 inches on either side. So make it bigger. I think there were a couple reasons behind it. Offense was one of them.
You're going to see more stolen bases.
More stolen bases.
Yeah.
And I think it was some safety but behind it as well, too.
I can buy that.
Especially kind of running to first.
Now, is that 2 inches total or...
I think they're adding 2 inches to each side.
On each side?
Yeah, on each, I think.
Okay.
Not 100%.
Okay.
But I think that's what they're going with.
Right.
So, I mean, we're talking, increasing, 4 inches total.
We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
With that, let's keep moving on with the episode. We got a Who You Got right now, and that is I picked this one, Eric, the best sport to spectate. Now, I can't say I went to any sporting events, but if I had to choose one,